HybridFoxKid, and welcome back to the blocks SMP. We're back again in Honeycomb Ridge, and in this episode we're going to be putting all of our focus into the mountain of Honeycomb Ridge and trying to get it finished off and finishing off the final details for this entire base. Because I think this might actually be the very last building episode of Season 1 of Blocks. I think I've got 2 episodes left. I feel that my base is nearly finished, and I gotta say, kind of proud of it so far, but I still got a couple things to do, so we're not done just yet. The sappiness can wait till a little bit later on. So, if you're a little bit keen-eyed, you will notice there are a couple more little floating islands between the mountains on Honeycomb Ridge. I did a couple between episodes. There's nothing special on them, they all look exactly the same. They're just a little pop of green here and there, and the occasional one has the occasional waterfall through it. So yeah, just adding a little bit of extra detail to the mountain here and there, but one of them I'm going to add a little bit of decoration a little bit later on. But what I want to focus on at the moment for the start of this episode, because I'm going to be mainly focusing on the mountain, and there's going to be one thing that's a little bit lower than the mountain, so I'm going to chuck it at the front so it's not like mountain below, so it's not all weird. So yeah, I'm finally going to get around to doing the sewers. So I have dug this massive tunnel, and this one's not as big as the other one. This one I've purposely cut in half, well, cut into a third, because yeah, going all the way from the end of both sides of the base and doing double the sewer system for it, it was getting very tedious very fast. So as soon as I finished the previous one, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna cut it in half and yeah, go with that. That's gonna be the best I can do, because yeah, I've spent about like 6 or 7 hours on the other side, so yeah, not too ideal. So my main idea for the sewer system, these are all the blocks I'm going to be using for them. So if you've seen a sewer system before, it's going to be nothing new. So we're going to be using a bunch of cobblestone, a bunch of coarse dirt, and then all of the mossy variants of all of these other kind of items. So yeah, pretty much my entire inventory is going to be filled with all this kind of stuff. And what I think I might do is I might like build up to here and then show you what it's going to look like in this small segment, and then I'll do a fancy time lapse for the rest of this section here. Yeah, that sounds like the way to go. Okay, so I've finished off the little prototype area just so you guys can get a gauge of what this area is going to look like. Now I gotta duplicate it down here, which is going to be fun, but hopefully in a nice speedy time lapse it's not going to be too bad. So yeah, let's get the time lapse started and have a good time. So it took me a little while, but I eventually got the entire sewer system done, and yeah, I can finally cross this off the list. It took long enough, but now I can happily say that it's completely finished. So one other little detail I added to the sewer was actually connecting the 2 channels together. So we have right side here, the left side over there, and just to prove that I did do all of the left side all the way to the end of my base, yeah, this one took a long time, so we can fly all the way down here, and this goes to the very, very front of my base. There's no exit, but trust me, it's a very, very long way. So that's why I decided to cut the other side in half, because doing this all again would have been a really, really long job. And to be fair, I was getting pretty burnt out of looking at the same 5 blocks over and over again. So yeah, decided to cut it in half, add like a blocker in there, and just add a little bit of extra detail to the sewer. But luckily for me, the sewers are finally finished, and yeah, I never have to go down here again. We're never gonna see it again. But with the sewers finished, that means we can finally exit out of here and actually work on the mountain today. So once I make it out, we can actually get started on the rest of the mountain decorating. So what I want to do today, I did point out these little extra mounds that I put on the mountains between episodes. I planned for one of them to be a little bit special, and I think my idea is maybe this one over here. I think I made it bigger than all the others just so I can add a little bit of extra things to it. So yeah, let's land here and see what we can add to it. So I have a plan of what I'm going to add here, and I hope that in one of these boxes I'm going to have the items I need. If not, I'll quickly take a run to my storage room. But let's look for some things. Yep, that'll work. Yeah, stone should probably be enough. I doubt I'll use anything else, and maybe some signs. I don't think I have any plain signs in here. No, I don't. Okay, so let's get the blocks crafted and I'll set it up quickly. The one problem I'm having with this is I didn't really center this item well, so it's gonna be a little bit off center, but maybe that might be a good learning curve for me to be able to like finally make things asymmetrical. So what I'm chucking down here is a little grave site. If you remember back in episode 10 when I acquired Luna and Sol, we had a little chicken over on my island over there that was connected to the nether roof. And unfortunately, little Greg the chicken, the void chicken, never came back. He's completely disappeared. So sad to say, I'm gonna set up a little grave site for him just so we can honor his name, because he was really a big part of my base for like a good 4 or 5 months. He just kept running in and out of that portal and it was very funny. So yeah, there we go. Rest in peace, Greg the void chicken. You will be missed. You were greatly loved. And yes, I'm gonna miss him. But we have more things to do. We can't let Greg's demise be the end of this episode. Let's continue on and get on with some more building. So as you know, I've been working on the side of the mountain for the past episode or so. One other thing I want to add to more of the medium to lower layers and a little bit of the higher layers as well, which is like these little redstone torches here. I want to do kind of the same style of this, having like little redstone torches poking out of the mountain here, there and everywhere. Kind of like radio tower signals and like satellite dishes. Maybe I might even throw a couple satellite dishes in here as well. I just really want to spice up the mountain a little bit more, and I have a feeling that these glowing red lamp torches are gonna do some really nice color pops, and maybe I might mix in your basic torch as well, just to throw in a little bit of color difference. So again, I don't really have a plan of where I'm gonna put any of these, so I'm just gonna plop them wherever I feel might be a good spot and hope for the best, really. So I knuckled down and got some work done and added a whole bunch of these things to the base, and I gotta say it added a lot more depth and a lot more interest to the mountain, which I'm very happy with. But the one thing the mountain is really missing now is the extra pop of color, because looking at the mountain now, there is a lot of dark greys, a lot of blacks, and the occasional jungle plank. But the one thing I feel is missing and slowly getting drowned out is the green. There's not enough trees to complement all of the different kinds of blacks and greys going on. So I think I might go around and add like tiny little bushes around the area. So no more trees like this, just tiny little pops of green here and there. So with the help of this handy dandy shulker box, in here we have a whole bunch of oak logs and oak leaves, and I'm just gonna pepper them around the base and hopefully they'll add the pop of color I actually need. So you know the drill by now. I'll be back in a jiffy. This one will take me a while. So like I said, I added a couple bushes to the mountain, and they are definitely doing the job of making the green stand out a little bit higher up in the base and not just be below. But with these being added, it makes me feel that there's too many sparse small items on the mountain. Like, I feel I need like a couple of bigger builds, kind of like this house and like the trees and the snake and all that kind of stuff. So maybe I might chuck like something bigger and spot that around everywhere to see if that will make the base tie together a little bit better. I have a plan. It's going to be like a little tiny house, but like very, very small. It's gonna be kind of like these little parts here that are jutting out of a couple of the houses. And yeah, we'll see if I like it, and if I do like it, we'll just chuck a whole bunch of them around. So I got a bunch of work done, and I added a whole bunch of these little windows popping out of the mountain. And yeah, I think I do really like it. They look rather nice, and they do add that extra little pop of color. Decided to add a little flower there as well, just for that extra little pop as well, because who doesn't love flowers? Flowers are adorable. But yes, I do really like how these little buildings tie the base kind of together. My only problem is how little there are. I think I've maybe chucked in 5 or 6. I didn't really have the place to accommodate this size of build without like having to move something else. So honestly, if I could have done this again, I would have done these first, like I did the trees, and then done everything around it. So that would have been a better idea, but you live and learn. We can take that lesson for the next time we do something like this. But I think with that might completely finish off the mountain for me. I don't really have any other idea of what to put on the mountain, and I feel that if I add any more, it's going to become really noisy and really cluttered. So I think I'm gonna stop here and yeah, be happy with this end result. I gotta say, kind of like it. It's not exactly what I wanted in my head, but yeah, I don't really know what I wanted in the first place. But yeah, it's kind of a contradictory comment, but I don't really know how I could make this any better. I am kind of happy with it. I'm not going to say that I'm disappointed with it. I am very, very happy with it. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, It could have been better, but I don't really know how I could have made it better. But still very, very proud of it. Not gonna get down in the dumps about it. But I may be done with the mountain, but I'm not done with this episode just yet, because there's a certain something that I've been putting off for way too long, and that is actually chucking in the journal entries for our library over here, which I still haven't done. I made this library like, what, 4 or 5 episodes ago, and I still haven't filled the poor thing with books. So I'm going to do that now, and we're going to have a little bit of dramatic reading. Yeah, I am not looking forward to this because I am terrible at writing anything. So yeah, take my journal entries with a grain of salt. They are, yeah, kind of badly written. So first thing we gotta do is grab a book and get all the necessary items to actually write in said book. So let's get all this sorted. I might have... How do I only have 1 feather? Okay, so I have 1 feather and no squid ink. Okay. Okay, time to do farming at the very end of the series. I never thought I'd do this late into the season. Hello, I require your ink. Please give me the ink. I only need 3, nothing else. Oh, you gave me 5! Oh, thank you very much. Now to hunt down a chicken. I have no idea where a chicken will be. Maybe a chicken might be on Animal Mountain. I don't think I've ever shown this off, but for some reason, every single animal under the sun likes spawning in this particular area. It's filled with, like, all cat, sheep, and, yep, luckily chickens. So yeah, let's claim one of these chickens. And hopefully they drop 2 feathers, so I don't have to take out multiple. Hello? Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. You're gonna die. Okay, so we got the amount of chicken feathers we're going to need, and we'll leave Animal Mountain. I still don't know why there's so many animals on there. It's absolutely populated with cats and everything, so you know what? I'm not going to complain too much. I do like myself a whole bunch of cats. So let's actually get these journal entries done and yeah, write it all down, and I'll be back for a dramatic reading. Okay, so I've written in the 3 books that I acquired, and they all have their own part of the story. So I'm just going to pop these on each of the lectern, and then we're going to have a dramatic reading. And as I said before, I'm not the best at writing, so yeah, cut a little bit of slack if you think it's kind of bad. I know I'm not very good. So let's get started on the first reading, which is The Origins of Honeycomb Ridge. Honeycomb Ridge is a new town created by a group of miners, searching for new minerals to excavate. While passing a giant mountain in the savannah, one of the miners noticed a material that had never been seen before, and with a new discovery, they had to dig further. As they dug through the mountain, they realized that they would be excavating for years, so instead of their temporary camp, they decided to build a town inside the excavated mountain, bringing Honeycomb Ridge to life. So there's that one. That's a little bit of lore of how the town actually started, so yeah, that's how it's a mining town. And the next one here is The Hermit, which I actually kind of like this one. I enjoy this one a lot. When Honeycomb Ridge was founded, it was thought that they were the first people to settle there, but they were mistaken. High up and tucked away in the mountain, there lived a man who lived in solitude for years. When the miners excavated the mountain, the man who they named The Hermit was against his new neighbors. The miners wanted to make peace with their new acquaintance, so as a gift they built him a house in the mountain. He reluctantly moved into the house, but still disagreed with their presence. I just love that man. He's just so done with everyone. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna move into this new house, but I still don't like your face. We do like the Hermit, and yeah, that's the Hermit story. And the last one, which is by far the longest, is the Honeycomb Snake, the origin of the Honeycomb Snake, who I absolutely love. The Honeycomb Snake was originally a pet snake of a young girl who moved into Honeycomb Ridge. His name is Noodle. The little girl was gifted a piece of the honeycomb calcite by her father. Noodle was very intrigued with this mineral and started to grow an obsession with it. One day, he was able to get out of his enclosure and eat the honeycomb calcite. The little girl was terrified that her beloved snake was going to die due to consuming a rock, but it was absorbed almost instantly by the snake. As years went on, Noodle consumed more and more honeycomb calcite and was slowly growing in size. Soon enough, he was so big that the little girl could no longer hold him in her house. Her father built a den for Noodle in the side of the mountain, allowing the snake to live in the town. Noodle now lives in the mountain, watching over the town and hanging out with the little girl who once took care of him. There we go. With that, that is the origins of the honeycomb snake, whose original name was Noodle. I don't know why, but having ginormous creatures that look like they could destroy entire towns, having dumb little funny names like Noodle is like my favorite thing. I had a sea serpent in one of my previous SMPs I used to play in. His name was Mr. Whiskers. I loved him, and yeah, it's just funny little names like that are like my favorite thing, and I don't know why. But I think with that, that's where I'm gonna leave this episode for today. And as I said at the start of this episode, this is the very last episode of building and base progress. So this is the end of my base. This is what it finally looks like, and I gotta say, I do really love this base. It's so awesome. It's so cool. But all of the reflecting is going to wait for the final roundup episode, which won't take too long to come out. It'll probably be out a couple more days after this one. But yes, we got one more episode of Honeycomb Ridge to go, and that's going to be the end of Blocks Season 1, and we'll be excited for Season 2. But we still got one more episode to go, so no getting sappy just yet. That's for the next episode. But yes, with that, I'm going to leave this episode here. If you guys like the video, give the video a thumbs up, and maybe subscribe if you want to stick around. All good, I'll see you guys next time. See ya!